Hello, everyone. It is 7:05 right now, and it is time to start our competition orientation and networking event tonight. My name is Mandy, and on behalf of the RunSpace organizing team, I'm happy to present the competition orientation and networking event tonight to you from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Taiwan time. And so let's kick off the event by starting to play a video of the 2024 RunSpace recap. So we will now hop to the video right now.
Hey guys, my name is Mustafa and I'm lead of AI at Endursa.
Hey everyone, I'm Athans Redwolf and I'm a sales engineer at Endursa. And it's a pleasure for us to present this year's Desktop Challenge. We're very excited to support the RunSpace program once again this year.
Okay, so that is the 2024 RunSpace recap, summarizing what we have accomplished last year. And for this year, we are happy to introduce a RunSpace Innovation Challenge to all of you tonight. So the organizer of the RunSpace program is the IDA, stands for the Industrial Development Administration. It is under the Ministry of Economic Affairs in Taiwan. And also the executive organizer is III, which stands for Institute for Information Industry. And for the partners this year of the RunSpace Innovation Challenge, we have the strategic partners and the supporting partners. So for the strategic partners, it is Axiom Space from the US and Hex20 from India. And we also have the supporting partners, Eutelsat OneWeb from the Europe, and also iSpace from Japan, and also Odysseus Space from Luxembourg. So thank you to all the supporting collaborating partners this year for making the 2025 RunSpace Innovation Challenge happen. So for now, we can start the competition orientation and networking event right now. So first of all, I will make the introduction of the RunSpace and also point out the registration guide to all of you. So this is a table of the contents for my part today. So first, I will introduce the RunSpace introduction this year and also provide the competition retrospective of 2022 to 2024 RunSpace Innovation Challenge. And the last part will be the registration guide to the RunSpace Innovation Challenge this year. Okay, so it is now the RunSpace introduction section. So RunSpace, a quick 3-minute quick overview of the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. RunSpace Innovation Challenge is the first ever space-themed competition in Taiwan, organized by the IDA from the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And this year is the 4th year of the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. So there are 3 main focuses, which are international expansion, and also we have 4 main themes, and we offer lots of training and exposure. For international expansion, since last year, we have collected many space solutions around the globe, and we also foster partnerships with international companies, associations, and also lots of research organizations. And the focus of our competition, we cover 4 main themes to offer the participants to submit their proposals from 4 main areas, which are ground equipment and services, satellite manufacturing, satellite services, satellite launch, and also others. And for training exposure, the RunSpace participants can join various of space programs, including online and offline training sessions, and also lots of networking events. The winning team of RunSpace can gain media exposure to boost their visibility. So the RunSpace Innovation Challenge is organized by the IDA, and you can see from the photo on the left is the award ceremony and demonstration day last year at Nangang Exhibition Center in Taiwan. And also you can see we cover 4 main themes and also others. So participants can submit a wide range of fields of proposals, and they are encouraged to showcase all kinds of their ideas. And since RunSpace encourage cross-domain innovation, we adopt a triple-track 2-stage review process. So you can see there are 3 main tracks, which is implementation category, innovation category, and also sponsor special topic. And the competition tracks will be further introduced in the PowerPoints. Okay, so for the competition origin and the mission and goals, so in order to foster the foundational momentum of the space industry, so the Taiwanese government has started the space industry promotion and development plan. And this involves collaboration among various ministries in Taiwan. So they focus on technology development, industry promotion, and also talent cultivation. And RunSpace represents the talent cultivation facets here. So the mission of the plan is to partner with firms and institutes worldwide and also enhance the market value of Taiwanese space community, and also to build a sustainable future for the space industry. And the goal is to advance Taiwan space technology and also drive the domestic satellite industry to the globe, and also to cultivate a global talent pool. For the competition timeline this year, so starting from April, meaning now we open the registration platform. So feel free to submit all your proposals during this time. And the registration platform will be closed by the end of June, which is June 30. And during this period, we have the Innovating in Space from Space Exploration to Business workshop on May 22, Thursday, which starts from 5 to 9 and UTC +8, because this is displayed as Taiwan time, and it is on Google Meet. So during that workshop, we invited guest speakers from iSpace and also Odysseus Space to share their insights to the space industry. So feel free to scan the QR code on the right side to register for the event. And during July, we will have the preliminary review, and we will have the finalist notification at the beginning of August. And within August, we will have the finalist bootcamp, which is for the finalist teams. So we will invite also guest speakers from the global space firms, such as Eutelsat, OneWeb, and also Hex20. And the bootcamp here with the guest speakers from the global space firms will be announced afterwards. But there's also one thing in certain, which is on August 23. We will hold the finalist bootcamp also on the Taiwan venue, which is at IEAT. And during September, we will have the final review, and it is also held in IEAT Taiwan, and it is on September 20. And during October, we will have the award ceremony and demonstration day. And during November till December, we will host a lot of networking activities, such as our global meetup series and also networking events. And you can always refer to the official website of RunSpace for the latest updates. For the competition themes this year, we have 4 main themes and others. So the 4 main themes, first one is the ground equipment and services. And also the second is satellite manufacturing. And the third is satellite services. And the fourth is satellite launch. And we also have others because the RunSpace Innovation Challenge encourage cross-domain interdisciplinary participants. So we offer others category, so all of the space-related proposals can join the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. And there are some frequently asked questions, such as, are there which theme have lots of proposals? So we have to admit that there are lots of proposals from satellite services and also others. And also for the competition guidelines this year, we have triple tracks. So there are implementation category, innovation category, and also the sponsor special topic. So the implementation category in blue and the innovation category in orange, they are counted as the regular tracks. So the regular tracks for the implementation category, the goal is focused on theoretical knowledge and also technical proficiency. And so in this category, there are lots of professionals in the space area or the STEM field students or participants will join this implementation category. And for innovation category, we emphasize on innovation and creativity. So there are more participants from not the space field, but also will join the competition under the innovation category track. And the eligibility are the same. So 1 to 5 people without any background limitations can form a team. And the team can have up to 2 advisors. And for the themes, as I just mentioned earlier, are the 4 main themes and also others. For the review methods and submission items, both implementation category and innovation category have 2 review stages. So the preliminary review are the same. Is the online review for a 10-slide proposal. So the participant as a team can submit the 10-slide proposal on our registration platform, and you can complete for the preliminary review stage. And for the final stage, it is kind of different. So for the implementation category, it requires in-person presentation and also the project demonstration with visualized object, and also to provide a 90-second project description video. And for the innovation category, the final review is to just simply update the 10-slide proposal, which you just submit for the preliminary review, and also to submit a 3-minute proposal video. And for the judging criteria is also both kind of different. So you can see from the implementation category, we focus on the theoretical and technical innovation aspect. And for the innovation category, we focus more on the relevance to space aspect. And for the prizes, the implementation category, the first championship can have 300,000 NTD, and the second place is 150,000 NTD, and the third place would have 100,000 NTD. And for the innovation category, we will have 5 teams to have the merit awards, which is 20,000 NTD for each of the 5 teams. And now we can proceed to the sponsor special topic. And for this year's sponsor special topic, it is set by our strategic partner Hex20, and the details will be on the next page. But the sponsor special topic, the goal is to connect with the industry needs by inviting the participating teams to offer solutions to Hex20. And the preliminary review and final review are similar to the innovation category. Just simply submit your proposals online. And the judging criteria is similar to the implementation category, which is the theoretical and technical innovation side. And the first place of the sponsor special topic will have 20,000 NTD and also the chance of being selected to join the 2027 CubeSat mission with Hex20. So this is a more detailed information of the sponsor special topic by Hex20 this year. The topic of the sponsor special topic this year is payload design for integrated Earth observation and space domain awareness. So for the mission description, Hex20 invite participants to design a 3U to 27U CubeSat carrying an innovative custom payload. So the mission have to be designed for Earth observation and or space domain awareness. So the participants are invited to design the payload on the CubeSat and to integrate at least 2 of Hex20 subsystems in your project. And the payload may refer to either a conceptual idea or also a product that has already been commercialized this year. And for the eligibility, participants, either you can join for the implementation category or innovation category. You can all register for the sponsor special topic. And for the referring documents, Hex20 will provide their subsystems materials online afterwards. And so the participating teams who are interested in sponsor special topic this year, they can find the materials afterwards on the document download section on our official website. And the judging criteria and procedure and submission I have introduced on the slide earlier. And for the price, it is also mentioned earlier as well. For the competition prizes and also the early bird lucky draw, so we changed the prizes into USD for everyone to have further attention and insights too. And so the implementation category, the prizes are listed, and innovation category as well, and sponsor special topic. And it is worth mentioning that aside from the monetary prizes, you can also receive the award certificate afterwards. And to encourage the proposal submission, we have the early bird lucky draw, which is one person to have the Apple iPad Air 6. So the teams that have completed registration and also submit their preliminary review documents by June 6th, Friday, before 11:59 p.m., they are eligible for entering the lucky draw. And the winner will be announced afterwards. So now we can enter to our competition retrospective. So in the past, from 2022 to 2024, we have gained lots of global exposure. So from 2022, there are 125 participants, all Taiwanese. But from 2023, we have gained to 175 participants. And you can see there are some nationality flags here because there are some foreign students in Taiwan also joined the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. And till next year, last year, we have gained more than 200 participants in RunSpace Innovation Challenge. And you can see more nationality flags because 2024 is the official year that we have gone global. So there are lots of foreigners that have attend for the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. And for the winning teams last year in the implementation category, So the first place we have Interstellar Firefly, and the second Taipei EO Communication, and the third place is RISE. And for the innovation category, we have 5 merit awards for DataNet, Galactic Farmers, Innovative Agriculture for Food Sustainability, U2 Explorer, and also Randu. And for the sponsored special topic last year, the initiator of the sponsored special topic last year is Indroset, a Bulgaria CubeSat manufacturer. So the goal, as I just mentioned, is to promote the collaboration between industry and also for the young talent to advance the space industry. So the mission during last year is to use the Indroset DACset and the ST Auto ML tool to to test a machine learning algorithm. And also you can see that the prize is offered by Indroset last year. And the winning team is from Thailand. It is Ingenusa last year. And in 2023, we have 3 winners for the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. So the first place is 3Q, and it is a US startup company. And the second place is Space Pharmacy. It is a Taiwan-based biotech company here. And for the third place, it is a project Subsidium. And for the first year of the RunSpace Innovation Challenge, it is 2022. And we have 3 winners. It is HuiSat, Flying Beethoven, and Iron Shield. And so also a recap for the last year's RunSpace program. So we hosted a range of space programs and networking events during last year. And the courses such as one-on-one pitch coaching and also English proposal strategy sessions, and also exploration to space law, and also design thinking workshop, and also some visual design and networking events with the top performing teams last year. And for the last year's final review, it is live streamed. And for the final review, it showcased lots of finalist teams, and they present their groundbreaking space-related applications and to push the boundaries of the innovation and also the future of space exploration and also the technology. And for the RunSpace demonstration day last year, the award ceremony and the project demo day took place at Taipei in Nangang Exhibition Center, and it is in support with IDA's plan for space industry supply chain development and communication industry talent empowerment. And it is the annual presentation for the teams or the companies to showcase their projects during that time. And also, for a quick guide for the registration. So how to apply for the RunSpace Innovation Challenge. It is simple. You can scan the RunSpace Innovation Challenge website on the right side. So if you are interested in joining, you can scan the QR code on the right, and you will see the web page here, and you can click register and learn more. And then you will be led to the RunSpace Innovation Challenge official website, and you can click register now for more. So in order to first to do your login and also set up your participating profile, you should register for your account first. So you can choose the new to RunSpace sign up section to set up your new profile. And you can fill out your profile to simply follow the form and also fill in all the information. And then you can click confirm registration and also hit the confirm button. And then you will receive a login confirmation email with a verification code, and you can fill in the code and also log in. And you can maintain your profile by clicking the member information and to edit your profile anytime. for the participant section, so after a successful registration, you can see that you can adjust your participant account anytime in the participant section area. So this is the main menu, and it includes edit profile, fill in registration form, and all others. So you can fill in your registration information fill in your registration form, and to follow the submission steps to upload your submission. You can click the participating category which you like, and to fill in all the information it required. It's quite simple. And you can upload your entry by clicking the upload submission button. And no need to rush, because you can first upload your proposal and then you can fix it as long as it is before the deadline. And for the submission entry, of course, you have to fill in all the information needed. And for the submission, your proposals, you have to first download the templates provided by the RunSpace Innovation Challenge organizing team. So you can download the documents you need on the main menu for the download competition documents side. And you can find all the documents there. And last but not the least, you can edit your entry, continue to modify your submissions until June 30. And you can contact us if you encounter any problems. And you can browse the official website anytime during the competition. So there are latest news, challenge overview, awards, etc. here. And so what RunSpace can provide, there are 3 main points for you to take away, which is the global connection and training resources and participating certificates. So the global connection. So since we partner up with global space firms and also associations with academic institutions, so the participants, they have the opportunity to let your idea to gain to the global stage. And also RunSpace offers lots of training resources, so including the pre-competition training and also the finalist bootcamp. So it can strengthen the skills for the participants for the challenge, and it is all free. And for the participating certificates, so all participating teams can receive the certificate simply by participating. So we believe that it is in support of future academic endeavors, and also such as scholarship consideration and also multiple career opportunities. So there's no point of waiting. You can simply just register now. And these are the contact information for the RunSpace Innovation Challenge organizing team. And feel free to contact us if you encounter any problems. And these are also our social media platforms. Feel free to scan them and to join us to follow us for the latest updates. Last but not the least, register now for our pre-competition training, and it's all free online. Thank you for listening for this part. So for the next stage, let's welcome for Interstellar Firefly, which is the championship from the implementation category last year. So before we welcome Feng Yao to share his PowerPoint with us, I would like to ask if all the participants to turn on your camera for a while, like 5 seconds, and for us to do 2 positions for a quick photo shoot for celebrating this event. So please, everyone, if you can turn on your camera right now. Okay, make sure to turn on your camera for like 5 seconds. So we will do the first posing. So the first one is the victory sign. So if you guys can follow me. Yeah. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I see this one. Okay, so Okay, then we will have the other position, which is the hello position. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. And if Feng Yao is ready, and then Feng Yao, you can have the floor now.
So let's get started. My name is Feng Yao Chen, and I'm the Vice Captain of the Interstellar Firefly, which is the Implementation Category Championship in 2024 RunSpace Innovation Challenge. So in today's sharing, I was sharing majorly about 3 different things. What we built in this project, how we made it possible, and how we made it happen. And lastly, it's about the recommendation in each process. So let's get started. So the first part, before we get into the technical part, I want to sharing about how we're building an effective team. Although I wasn't the one who initially gathered everyone together, but we do have some words after that. So I would like to share some reflections about it. So first one is about bringing people from diverse backgrounds. So bringing people from different academic backgrounds help build a great team. Our members come from various departments with different personalities and areas of expertise, so which actually turn out to be a great advantage of us. For example, 2 of our teammates specializing and had user experience in STK, which is System Toolkit, major doing the orbit simulation, and they majorly focus on that. Another one was more familiar and more professional with the optics, so they work on the cameras, which is one of our payloads. And also we have someone which is our seniors, skilled in programming, so which led to development of our image recognition and trajectory prediction software called SpectralVision, which is our own development. So different backgrounds brings different perspectives, and it's really crucial for the discussion, which is essential for the mission or project design. So that's the first thing I want to share. Bringing people from diverse backgrounds can build an effective team. So the second one is a clear role definition. So this one is we use a shared Excel sheet to track each other and each member's task, to-do list, and key milestones, of course. So for example, because when we hold the projects, we're the 4th year of the college students. So we got some of us got the part-time jobs, some of us got the lectures, some of us have to do their projects. So everybody was very busy. So using the Excel sheet can help us stay on schedule and ensure that everyone knew their responsibility and what they're doing. And because we can see other people, what did they do this week, what did they do, and the time planning, what's the plan. So we can kind of account each other. We can I won't say supervise, but we do know someone who did the job and who didn't. So it's naturally creating a sense of accountability and also the mutual encouragement. So we create a great vibes when we hold the projects. So hold Excel sheets, have a clear role definition is essential. So the last one is about mutual support. I think the most important thing in practical situations, this is also one of the things I learned from this project, is that things didn't always go exactly as planned. So we often gather, no, not often, we usually gather to discuss or reschedule each other's work, regardless of who was in charge of that part. And through this one, we realized real teamwork isn't about working separately. It's about supporting each other towards a shared goal. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody know what they were doing. What were you going to do right now? What's the issues? What's the problem right now? So discussion is very important, and the support also. So there are 3 different sentences to make a small conclusion in these slides. The first one is that diversity fuels innovation. The second one, clear definition roles and tracking tasks, obviously is crucial. And the most importantly, always leave a margin for adjustments. So that's my first slide, how to build an effective team. So let's move to the next one. it's like after we form a teammate, the first question we faced is like, what are we going to do? Honestly, in my opinion, this is the toughest and it's the hardest part of the entire process. With limited time, we need to find a topic that was not only interesting, but also something we could realistically pull off. So we have a lot of discussion. We read a lot of research paper. I think totally at least we read 50 to 100, maybe 100 different papers. So ultimately, we provide our purposes, which is monitoring lunar debris and meteoroids. And this is what we consider about. The first one I want to say as an implementation category, accessibility and innovation obviously is important. Mentioned before, the grade matrix shows like 30% of theoretical and innovation. This is the grade. So accessibility and innovation is very important. So what are we going to do? We weren't trying to solve everything or reinvent the wheel. Our goal was to find a topic that values spark our interest and match with our skills, and then just do it well. So to some of us, choosing the right topic wasn't about solving the biggest problem in the universe, not finding for example, I want to find some alien, that's kind of so choosing the right topic, it was about finding something meaningful, doable, and worth doing, and making sure we execute it clearly and thoroughly. So the second one is you have to put your purposes specific. So our mission, for example, wasn't vague. We wanted to design a CubeSat that could track meteoroids and debris around the moon, and also build a long-term database full of future missions could rely on. This matches our motivation I will talk about later, because based on the database, we can decide which place is better for constructions, for people, for the base, also for the transportations, launch stations, a lot of the different things. So ultimately, what is our motivation? It's very easy. Safety is our motivation. For example, in our project, based on the research paper or news we found, future space exploration, we are focusing on the moon. There are a lot of different projects holding right now, like Artemis, held by NASA. Many countries also including India, already planning landings and base construction on that. What's the need? What's the requirements back of that? Is safety. So safety is always the top priority when it comes to the space mission or space explorations. So the clear motivation, specific purposes also consider about accessibility and innovation. That's the three things we have considered in mission design in the beginning of our projects. So let's make a small conclusion about this slides. The first one is you have to narrowing down the target, put it into specific, not too abstract. The second one is doing something that actually works in reality, in practical situations. So that's our mission design part. So let's move to another one. Oh, I have a small example, because this kind of abstract. So we use 3 different questions in the final presentation of last year's challenge to demonstrate our mission design, our motivation, and purposes. These are 3 questions we demonstrate, how we demonstrate. The first one is, why us? The second one is, why now? The third one is, what's difference? Using these 3 questions, put it into 3 slides, we can briefly demonstrate and tell the judgment or professor what we're going to do. What are our purposes? What is our motivation? What's the difference between us and other competitors? So that's the 3 questions we do. So, for example, in the why now slide, this slide is what we actually put in the final presentation in last year's championship. So, for example, with advanced technology, such as rapid development of artificial intelligence and reusable rockets, the space industry market is going to increase in the next 10 to 20 years rapidly. As shown in the figure on the left, which is 2023 Global Space Economy. The market value reached as much as 400 million, with the lunar plays a significant portion in it. On the right side, which is our estimated lunar market value. For example, in the chart, we can see the lunar market growing from 8 billion, which is the blue line, from 2025 to 2040, to 243 billion euros. And also, as you can see, the orange line is the mission related to the lunar. From 2025, 114 to 2040, 200 missions. So that's what we taught in these slides. Why you have to choose our projects now, because there are huge potential in the future market. So this is how we present in the last years. So let's move to the next stage about mission flowchart. Once we design our motivation and purposes, we have to have the comprehensive whole flowchart for the judgment and for the professor to know what we're going to do. So let me slightly and simply explain how this works. So once from the left side, once our CubeSat get into the mission orbit, which is a low lunar orbit, LLO, it will decide where is it. So if it is not above the lunar post, which is the upper one, it will activate the image sensor. And based on the light it absorbed, we divided two situations, the sunlight side and also the umbra side. The umbra side means dark side. So the sunlight side, we will activate camera and doing the object detection. If detect its spacecraft, the CubeSat will take the pictures. If it's objects, it will doing the trajectory prediction. So as you can see, the red one is our software system, deal with all the data processing and storage. So let's back to the image sensor. Once it's detected, if it is on the umbra side, we will activate the LiDAR to do the trajectory prediction. And all the data will store on the onboard computer OBC and sent to Earth via the S-band. So let's get back to the very beginning, which is the position. If it's above the lunar post, the camera will take the pictures of the lunar post, because lunar posts, based on the research we found, have a lot of rare metals, a lot of different rare materials, which is crucial for the industry. So that's our whole mission flowchart. We use a simple diagram to demonstrate how we process our mission. So next, I will talk about the system we developed in this project and also in this mission. So basically, we developed two different kind of system, the hardware system and also the software system. So in hardware system, we have a multi-tone continuous wave, which is kind of LiDAR, wide-angle camera, and also narrow-angle camera. And about the software, we have two different kind of systems. The one is for Inception V3, which is majorly doing object recognition for objects. Because our aiming is about meteoroids and debris, so we have to have the ability to identify where is the object, what is the object. And also about the Q-learning, which is majorly for trajectory prediction, because we want to create a database of meteoroids, where it landed, where is it, what is the size, what is the speed. So we have to predict the trajectory of that. So that's majority of two major systems, hardware system and also the software system. So how we obtain images, we have a small animation that I create. We have a small animation for that. So for example, these are two systems, camera system. We have wide angle camera and narrow angle camera. LiDAR system, we use multi-tone continuous wave. So this is a simple diagram. The WAC means wide angle camera. NAC means narrow angle camera. So once there's an object getting to detection area of wide angle camera, it will detect it. Oh, there's object getting. So the narrow angle camera will activate and tracking the objects. So it shows, it's kind of and the second one is about LiDAR system. It's called multi-tone continuous wave. So basically, the principle back of that is put the laser in the specific range. And then once the object get into the area of the laser, they will send back the Doppler signals, and we analyze the Doppler signals. The object with different speed, with different size, enter in different position, all will generate different signals. So we analyze the signals, we will get the information of the objects, and we collect the information. So that's majority two things we do about how we obtain images: the camera and also the LiDAR. And I want to further explain why we have to develop two different kinds of camera. Because we deploy on CubeSat, and CubeSat have limited spaces. The reason why we have to develop two things is like wide-angle camera, although it has wide range, detection range, but it has low resolution. So if we want to put our object's surface, we want to gather as much information as we can, we have to use the narrow angle camera to detect and capture the information we need. So that's why we use the camera system. Okay, so the LiDAR system, why we have to use it is because like depends on the position of our CubeSat, because also because of the some space dynamics. There are two different kind of situations in the umbra side and the sunlight side. So on the umbra side, the camera didn't have sufficient light to activate and to take the pictures. So we have to use another devices, which is LiDAR, to do it, to capture the information on the umbra side. So that's why and how we obtain images. So let's move to next. This is also one of our table presenting the final presentations. We got the budget table, which include the subsystem, product, mass, power, and cost. For example, ADCS, the full name is Attitude Determination and Control System. We use ADCS 1E06. The mass of lead is 1.5. The power of lead is 20. The cost of lead is 115,000 euros. So totally, we have 16.97 mass, 161.67 powers, watts, and also 1,494 500 euros. So if you have found that the devices and the products we mostly use is commercial off the shelf, which is COTS. Why we don't develop by ourselves? Why we have to use a COTS is because COTS have the flight heritage. Flight heritage means these products have been through assembling, integrating, verification, and a lot of testing. They even have practical situation. They put this stuff into the practical situation. So the flight heritage means safe. Like compared to your own devices, is safe. So it kind of like align to our motivation, which is safety, because safety is very important. So this is our budget table. And the next is about our configuration of the CubeSat. We have a slide in the presentation about demonstrating to tell the professor how many devices, how many segments do we have in this project. For example, we got ADCS, TCS, OBC, power system, antenna, solar panel, wide-angle camera. The special one we called propulsion system because based on the research we found, the life of the CubeSat can no longer stand for like maybe 1 year or 2 years. So we have to consider like once it's done with the job, how do we dispose this CubeSat? So that's the motivation and purposes we want to go and we want to achieve. So we provide the propulsion system. I will talk about later how we dispose of the CubeSat. And of course, we have LiDAR system and also the narrow angle camera system, like I mentioned before. So this basically is the overview of our configurations. So let's move to the next one, which is Spectra Vision. This is our own system called Spectra Vision, which has two major parts. The first part we called Q-learning, which is reinforced learning for trajectory prediction. This part can predict the object's trajectory based on its position, speed, and even space weather factor size. The model learns to estimate the next position step by step. For example, as you can see the figure down below, the actual trajectories of meteoroids and debris, which represents the blue line, is the information we capture by our two payloads, LiDAR and camera. And then we put the information into this model, and then we generate the red lines, which represents the trajectories of light. So this is basically how it works. So the next one is about Inception V3. It's kind of like deep learning CNN for object recognition, and they also have the paper for detection. It also it's already applied into the object recognition in meteoroids. So we also use the data augmentation and L2 regularizations to make it more stable and more reliable. So as you can see, the picture down below, which is the black base one, the image, the object in the image is basically a spacecraft. And we put this like image into the Inception V3, and it generates the result, which is up when there's a small words, predicted spacecraft. So they prove like we can successfully predict it and recognize the objects in the mission we capture by our cameras. So basically, we didn't just design the system, we trained it with real data sets. We collect the pictures and we train it with the real data sets and run simulations for that. The performance of like recall rate of our model is like 90%. So it's a pretty good like recall rate. So the next one is about our orbit simulations by System Toolkit. Because as you can see, and as I mentioned before, the orbit plays a significant part in our mission. So from the left side, this is our overview orbit simulation, the camera and also the LiDAR. The camera is the light blue, the LiDAR is like the deep blue. So the simulation parameters, our RAAN is a negative 120, 0, and 120 degrees, which shows we have three different orbits like the pictures show below. We have three different pictures, the green line, the blue line, and the pink line. So RAN is basically the right ascendation of the ascending node, which means the angle measured in the equatorial plane from the vernal equinox to the ascending node. So basically the altitude of our orbit is 100 kilometers, which is low lunar orbit. And also the inclination is like 80 degrees. We have tried different kind of inclination, but ultimately we found 80 degrees is more suitable and more proper for our mission. So totally, we have 36 LSCS, 12 per orbit, as you can see. And if you put your sight on the left side's pictures, the blue spheres fully cover the whole moon, and we run 24/7, which shows we have 100% coverage, and we run 24/7. So this is our orbit simulation by System Toolkit. And the next one is what I'm talking about is disposal method. Once our CubeSat is done with our project, the CubeSat will land on the lunar surface, avoiding space debris in the orbit. The reason why we have to do this is our purpose is to creating a long-term database for the future space mission to monitor, to capture, to remove the space debris in the orbit. But if we didn't dispose the CubeSat, they will stay on the orbit and ultimately become a space debris. That's not what we want. So we choose a place on the lunar surface. How we can do that? Because like I mentioned before, we have a database for that. So at the end of the mission, we are based on the database to choose a position on the lunar surface to land, to reduce the risk of damaging the construction, damaging the people, damaging the transportations. So that's how we dispose our CubeSat. We also have a simulation on this. How long do we have to take from 100 kilometers onto the lunar surface? Based on the simulation, which is the figure down below, disposal orbit time and altitude diagram, it costs maybe around 17 minutes to 18 minutes to do this. And like I mentioned in the configuration of the CubeSat, we have the propulsion system, so we definitely can reach our goal, which is dispose on the lunar surface. So this is our disposal method. So next part, I would like to introduce about the main challenges and how we overcome this. But because everybody must know like the space project and the mission is very complicated. From the payload you choose, the mission design. So there are too many things I can like put into the slides, but I'm using the general perspective. So let's see. The first one I want to talk about is like limited resources. Because we choose, the CubeSat have its advantages, but of course it has disadvantages. For example, the limited space, the small space, the low power, and also the limited storage. How do we solve the issues? It's using one word called trade-off. Basically, we use how to trade off, like conditional activation. For example, if we're on the sunlight side, we use the cameras. If we're on the dark side, we switch to light up. Even the cameras on the sunlight side didn't always stay on all the time because we use the wide angle camera to scan first. Once wide angle camera detect the objects, the narrow angle camera would activate. So this way, we not only save power, but also reduce the unnecessary data load for our CubeSat. So that's the first challenge we have to think about. It's like putting into the practical situation and physical situations. What's the limitation of the CubeSat? And the second one is more close to the teamwork and collaboration is communication, because space missions or space projects are super complicated. And since everyone handles different parts, like some of us handle the orbit simulation, some of us handle the OBC, some of us handle the software, solar panel, LiDAR, camera. So it's easy to forget who and like why you're even doing what you're doing. So it's kind of just lost. So honestly, I was lost. I was the person like who get lost sometimes when I'm doing the projects. So how do we deal this kind of situation? How do we overcome it? We had a regular discussion and team check-ins. We gave each other feedback, which help us adjust in time and stay on the same page. This is very important because sometimes people get lost. So you have to make sure your teammates and you guys are on the same page. So communication and collaboration were absolutely essential. Is absolutely essential because all the subsystem had to work together, like I mentioned before. For example, like if we want to track our targets, the ADCS must come in, the power system must come in, the solar panel must come in. So how do you deal and trade off with this kind of situation? You need to communication, you need collaboration. Then what's the essential for that? It is like you have to make sure everybody is on the same page. So feedback section, meeting, discussion is very important. And the last one I want to say is like tight schedule. Because as a space mission, if you want to do it like in a more comprehensive, you need time management. But how we do that? We have a milestone, like I mentioned before, in the Excel sheet. So since we're in the hardware, for example, since we were in the hardware prototype track, we couldn't just present slides because I'm in the implementation category. We had to physically show our CubeSats. Like we decided to build a 3D printing model, but it turned out to be a bigger challenge than expected. For example, we have to modify the structure for printability, verify every module's size and position to make them fit together, and make sure the model was stable, portable, and understandable to viewers. This pushed us to start system integration, the whole integration, earlier than planned. So because we had known how every subsystem would fit together. And fortunately, like I mentioned in maybe the first or second slides, always leave margins for adjustments because we have these some margins. So if the things come up, we have the time to deal with it. So it was kind of stressful, but like result was worth it. But there's a true experience. So I'm the person who responsible for the 3D printers in the final presentations. But because I kind of like not clear about the standards, which is how to present the whole 3D printing models of our CubeSat. So ultimately, we didn't present our best version, but like I think this is also one of the lessons I learned. You have to have the clear standards on everything, especially for you if you want to demonstrating in the presentation in implementation category group, which is your model. You have to have the clear standards for that. Okay, that's my opinion. So I'll make a small conclusion in these slides. In the end, these weren't just technical problems. They were about time management, teamwork, collaboration, how to turn the concepts into reality, from the paperwork to the reality. And we learned one thing. There's no perfect solution. All is about trade-off. All is about adjustments. But if the team works together, stay flexible, and keeps adjusting, every challenge can be solved. All issues can be solved. Okay, so let's move to the next part. How to improve English skills. So actually, like I put this slides because like the organizations tell me like in last year's question, like a lot of people answer this question, but it's really honestly it's really weird to like let me explain this slides because my English isn't that good. I'm not the best presenter using English in our team. There's another one which is way better than me. So, but I do know a lot of people scared when they hear English presentations. So honestly, I did too. Okay, I'm really scared when I heard like I have to use English to present in final presentations. But we're all getting nervous at first. But like we will ask ourselves, why? What if I mess up? What if I freeze during the presentation? What if I say something wrong? But here's what we learned and how we deal with these situations. So first, write your script in Chinese or your mother language, then translate it as sentence by sentence into English. I think everybody must know this plan because when you translate the sentence by sentences, you will clearly understand what does the sentence meaning into English way. But I have another tips, which is like, don't remember the whole sentences. You're using the keywords to remind you like, oh, here's what we're talking about. Here's what we're going to talk. Because when you put yourself into the speakers in front of the judgments, in front of the professor, once you forgot one sentences, the sentences following up, maybe you will forget. That's one of my experience when I like practicing or demonstrating the presentations. So the first recommendation is like, write in Chinese and translate to English sentence by sentence. And the second one is prepare for questions. You estimate the questions were provided by professor. For example, you guess the questions the judgment might ask and prepare short English answers in advance. How do we do that? Okay, this is how we do this. We majorly align all of the answers to link to the purposes and motivation in this project. For example, why did you have to choose this method? Oh, because our aimings is to do what? So we do this. And why we have to do this? Kind of like link the answers to motivation and purposes in your project. So you can prepare for the questions. You estimate what kind of questions the judgments the professor would ask you. That's the second recommendation. And the last one is like team practice is really important. So rephrase the whole presentation as a team instead of individually. Practicing how to say it, when do you have to pass your microphone, when to speak, because practice is the best way to reduce your nervousness when you're in the presentations. So because we practice a lot, the more we did, the smoother we got in the situations. So honestly, we realized like you don't have to wait your English to be perfect to speak. Once you start speaking, your English gets better naturally. Okay, so this is kind of the end of the my presentation, but I have something like this. This isn't I didn't make any script for that, so I have something like something real I want to say. So we weren't some super like polished team when we started. We didn't have perfect skills. Like for me, I didn't have any perfect skills or fluent English. But joining this competition pushed us to grow fast, not mentally, but also how you deal with the practical problems in reality. So in just a few months, we learned how to plan a mission, explain technology clearly, and also with people, deal with the people and know the people from different backgrounds. And most of all, how to turn an idea into something we could actually stand on stage and share. This is the most important thing I have learned in this journey. So these aren't things you learn from lectures. It's kind of different from lectures. They're the things you learn by doing. So once you have done it, it sticks with you. Honestly, the knowledge and the information, the attitudes, the way we hold the projects is useful for me right now so far. So if you or ever get a chance to join something, to join someone, to work with your friends, with your people, with like your teammates like this, do it. Just do it. Don't worry about being good enough or ready. I'm not ready. Don't think about it. Just seriously, just try it. Just directly try it. So ultimately, you'll figure it out on doing along the way, and you might be surprised by how much you can actually do and how much you can learn from it. So that was our RunSpace story, and I really hope one day I get to hear yours. So my name is Fengyao Chen, and my position is the Vice Captain of Interstellar Firefly, which is the championship of implementation category in last year's 2024 RunSpace Challenge, Innovation Challenge. And lastly, there's a quote I want to give you all the people who are listening to my presentations. I wish you guys all have clear goals, making bold choices, and aiming for one mission. This is the end of my presentations. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Fengyao, for sharing your proposal of the Interstellar Firefly and sharing your experiences about joining the RunSpace Innovation Challenge, about dealing with people and the trade-off and the adjustments, and also about the teamwork and the just do it mindset. Thank you very much. And also your advices about the English presenting part. Thank you, Fengyao. And for now, we will have to welcome Xuan Yi from innovation category from last year. She won the merit award from the team that she represented. It is Innovative Agriculture for Food Sustainability. Xuan Yi, you may have the floor now. Feel free to project your PowerPoint.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Shane Lee from Imperial College London, and now I'm studying a PhD. And last year, I joined the RunSpace competition innovative group, and then my team name is Innovative Agriculture for Food Sustainability. And the project title is Unsupervised Winter Food Crop Mapping with Sentinel-1 and 2 Temporal Analysis. So let's start from my career path because it influenced me how I get to this competition and how I select my topic. Since 2016, I started to work as an assistant at the Breach Center at National Central University. So I started my research at the very young period, which is the second year of undergraduate. And during these 4 years, I focus on the breach inspection. Thus, I have the collaboration with some UAV companies and also have the collaboration with Professor Wang Zhongyu in National Central University, who's in charge in the breach center. In 2018 and 2019, I co-organized an infrastructure safety inspection competition using UAV in Taiwan. And I also execute the undergraduate project from Ministry of Science and Technology in Taiwan. And these topics are all focused on UAV bridge inspection. At the time, I was doing UAV bridge crack detection. So it was a part of photogrammetry. It's not like what I was doing now, but As you know, photogrammetry is a kind of image analysis, which can be also related to the remote sensing data processing. So that's why I get more familiar with the GIS techniques and also the satellite data. Afterwards, I joined the double degree program at NCU and started my master and completed within a year. And at that time, I was the practical surveying course teaching assistant. And to improve my own coding, I self-learned and also took the part-time job in the coding school and then trained some students. In 2022, after my graduation in master, it was the COVID period. But at the time, I've already decided to study my PhD. However, it was COVID and I didn't get a good offer. So I didn't get out of the country in 2020. In this case, I choose to start my career in industry. And at that time, I work in strong engineering consulting company as an R&D engineer, which focus on GIS technique and software, and also the applications of UAVs, and also some photogrammetry techniques, also a part of remote sensing satellite imagery analysis as well. And I still continue doing some code training for some students in the coding school to improve my personal coding skills like Python or JavaScript. Afterwards, after a year, I changed the job to Nadi System Corporation as a GIS software developer, and also partly doing some BIM, building information model, and IoT application during the job in Nadi System Corporation. And during that time, I sharpened my skills a lot in coding. And it was writing with Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, and sometimes a bit of C++. In 2022, I got the offer from Imperial College London, and I decided to leave the country and then start my PhD. Start from October 2022, I started to work as a graduate teaching assistant at Imperial College, and I'm now in the geotechnics section, but focusing on the remote sensing related research and image analysis. And also, I'm now the co-leader of Earth Observation Network at Imperial College London. This network is the collaboration with Department of Physics, School of Public Health, Earth Science, Civil Engineering, and Business School, and so on and so forth. So it's a big group the researchers are all focused on the Earth observation research. So this is how I gain lots of ideas on this kind of topics and why I want to join this competition. Later, I would like to introduce you about my topic from last year. So first, we'll start from the brief introduction about what I have done last year or recently. And second is the research objectives of this research topic. And afterwards is my first stage and second stage of this research. So the first one is the winter wheat extraction, and the second one is the winter food crop mapping. The first stage is the preliminary results, and which is focused on winter wheat. And the second stage is 3 types of winter crop: barley, wheat, and rapeseed. And I will give some conclusions and some future work. So for the introduction, food sustainability has become a major global concern in recent years. Multi-strategies have been dealt with these issues have been developed. Impacts on 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming above the pre-industrial levels have been assessed by IPCC, including the influence of the food security. The Earth's observation data has been widely applied to crop identification using supervised machine learning. However, this kind of supervised machine learning relies on large amount of ground truth. And as you know, in some rural area, it's really hard to get ground truth. And if you need largest amount of ground truth, it means that it takes lots of labor works and people need to go to the field and do some surveying. And it's also not possible to do the historical analysis for the unreachable area. Another thing, some results from single image classification were highly reliant on the sensing date selection of satellite images. This means there are many research studies using only one image to do this crop classification, which is not really accurate. Therefore, analyzing temporal EO Earth observation data was suggested approach to resolve this issue. In order to do this research, focusing on the winter food crop, we need to understand the growing seasons of these types of crops. And in this research, the first stage is focusing on winter wheat, and the second stage is focusing on winter barley, winter wheat, and winter rapeseed. So we study the growing seasons of these three types of crops, and the growing season is from late November to late June. In this case, we collected the benchmarks from the previous research to study the phenology of winter barley, winter wheat, and winter rapeseed. In this study, we used the data from ESA, European Space Agency, Sentinel-1 and 2. I don't know if you have heard of this or not, but it's a really widely used satellite imagery. And sensing period is from 30th November 2019 to 30th June 2020. And we selected two products. As you know, Sentinel-1 is a kind of synthetic aperture radar and is a kind of radar image. And we use two kinds of polarization, VV and VH polarizations, and also the Sentinel-2 multispectral images, which selected cloud cover under 10%. The selected study area is in Norfolk, England, UK. The research objectives first is to understand the growing season of three types of winter crop: barley, wheat, and rapeseed. And the second is the development of the unsupervised machine learning method with temporal data with zero ground truth. Third, we need to integrate SAW with multispectral image products to improve the accuracy. Fourth, the phenology of winter barley, winter wheat, and winter rapeseed is to understand the conditions of plants in the various spectral indices and multi-band images and backscattered VH and VV polarizations. In this research, we also find the most suitable combination of input variables for unsupervised winter food crop mapping. The most suitable combination of input here means the input variables to put in the develop unsupervised machine learning method in this research, not the other research method or for other research studies. So let's start from the first stage of my research. So this is my first conference paper for my PhD, and it was doing a small task with winter wheat extraction. Wheat is one of the most important food resource and most widely used crop in the world. And there's huge demand every year. And to accurate wheat mapping can ensure the food production and further improve estimates of yield and biomass to maintain the sustainability within the agriculture. This is the workflow for my first stage, and it's a bit different from my second stage. The first stage of my research is to input both Sentinel-1 and 2 data sets and co-register it together with the WGS84 and resample the pixels to the same size. Afterwards, we calculate for values NDVI, VV, VH, and VH-VV ratio. Afterwards, we input these variables to DTW. It's called dynamic time warping to calculate the distances among pixels. Afterwards, I would have further discussions about DTW. And after the distance matrices were generated, it will be input to the hierarchical clustering to cluster the pixels into groups, and we will georeference the pixels and then get the initial classified result. So there will be 4 initial classified results for NDVI, VV, VH, and VH-VV ratio separately. When we get the initial result, we can calculate the sensitivity of each variables and then judge the key factor and then input these variables again back to the hierarchical clustering and then generate the final result. In my first stage, I try to understand the phonology of the winter wheat with the normalized difference vectorization index, so-called NDVI. So there are some benchmark from the previous research we can use. So that's how we understand the NDVI trend for winter wheat. What is dynamic time warping? Different from the traditional Euclidean distance calculation. The traditional Euclidean calculation is 1-to-1 by point throughout the time series analysis. But for DTW dynamic time warping, it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-many or many-to-many, which can be more accurate while calculating the distance or so-called similarity among the pixels. Okay, the figure is a bit not in the order because it's in the Google. It's in the Google Slides. Okay. Oh my God. This one is not in the order, but I can try to explain to you the hierarchical clustering. So I just make a simple example on the left-hand side, though the figure is not really in the order. Just take a simple example. There are A, B, C, D, E, 5 pixels. And on the first layer, you will calculate the similarities among each other. And then since A, B is more similar to each other, so you will the hierarchical clustering will gather A, B together and to put it to the second layer. And DE is closer to each other, so DE will gather together. And on the second layer, they will calculate the distance again. And then since C is closer to DE, so CDE will gather together, and until the final stage, all pixels will gather together. And this is how the hierarchical clustering works. And if you want to see the complexity of this model, you can see the dendrogram of hierarchical clustering on the right-hand side. In our first stage of this research, we select a very small area at Norfolk, 600 meter by 600 meter. As I previously said, there are 4 initial results. First is the NDVI, second is the VH, third is the VV, fourth is the VH-VV ratio. The greens represent wheat, blue represents other vegetation, yellow represents urban, orange represents soil, and red represents others. And as you can see, NDVI shows the best result. However, it's still not very good. So how can we improve it? In this case, we combine NDVI with the other variables, the backscatter value and VH-VV ratio. For the pure NDVI classification and the dendrogram, it reached 72% accuracy, and the improved classification reached 86% accuracy. So this is just a very small test in this research. The unsupervised machine learning model with zero ground truth achieved 86% accuracy in winter wheat extraction. The integration of SAR backscatter with multispectral vegetation indices improved the accuracy. And the third one is very important. To that is known, the DTW precisely calculates the numerical distance among pixels, which is unlike the Euclidean traditional distance calculation, can get the higher accuracy while you calculate the similarity between 2 patterns or 2 features or 2 pixels or 2 digital data. Fourth, we generate the sensitivity of NDVI, VH-VV, and VH-VV values toward winter wheat. So, yeah, if you didn't really understand about the first part, maybe you can take a breath, and then you will get more information about this research in the second part. And the second part actually adjust a bit on some details, and it's important to understand more because it's the published paper and you can look it up by yourself. Again, the study area is at Norfolk, and this time we select 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer, and the ground truth data was selected by the Rural Payment Agency. They did the surveying job, so we acknowledge them. And the winter barley shows on the figure in orange, and winter wheat in blue, and winter rapeseed in pink. In the second stage of the research, we try to add on 4 more variables: soil adjusted vegetation index, enhanced vegetation index, and normalized difference moisture index, and normalized difference water index. after studying more and more research studies, I think it's necessary to use multiple bands, like more as possible, for if you are using Sentinel-2 data. That's why we try to engage more spectral indices in this research. This is the complex version of the workflow, and this is also published in my recent paper. So first, we are using, again, Sentinel-1 and 2, and we co-register to the same UTM WGS84, and we sample it to the same pixel size. Afterwards, we calculate these values and also extract the backscatter values and VHV ratio. At the stage B, please focus. Now we change the dynamic time warping to fast dynamic time warping. And I will explain later what's the difference between fast dynamic time warping and the original dynamic time warping. So afterwards, the input variables can help to generate the distances, and then the distance matrices will be input in the hierarchical clustering. The initial results will be generated. After it's generated, the sensitivity calculation will be applied, and will give the weights to each variable, and then input to the whole FastDTW hierarchical clustering model again to generate the final results. So this model is called FastDTW HC in the short term. FastDTW means fast dynamic time warping, and HC means hierarchical clustering. So as you know, there are two parts. And first one, because there are 8 parameters, so that's why it consists of 8 proximity matrices for 8 initial HC machine learning models. And thus, there are 8 initial results from each index image: NDVI, SAVI, EVI, NDMI, and DWI, VV, VH, VHVV ratio, and to calculate the sensitivity of winter barley, winter wheat, and winter rapeseed. So in this research, the second stage of research, we have 5 combinations to try which one is the most suitable combination for this unsupervised machine learning model. So what's the difference between DTW and FastDTW? For FastDTW, to reduce the computing time, it will first calculate the distance in the rough resolution, means the lower resolution. So as you can see on the left-hand side is the 1/8 resolution, and they will calculate the distance first. Afterwards, it will project to the higher resolution, which is 1/4, and calculate the distance with its neighbor again. So they don't need to calculate the distance with other pixels, other unrelated pixels. And afterwards, it will project again to the higher resolution and calculate the distance, and it can be more accurate and precise, and also reduce the computing time until it comes to the full resolution. This is the statistical analysis in this research. And you can see we calculate recall, sensitivity, accuracy, precision, F1 score, and kappa coefficient. So this is the results of this research. The first one is the NDVI only result. As you can see, it's 74% accuracy for barley, 66% for wheat, and 93% for rapeseed. The kappa coefficient is moderate, around 0.45. This is the result we try to integrate the best scatter value and VHV ratio with NDVI. As you can see, the recall for the winter wheat is getting higher. However, the kappa coefficient is lower than NDVI only, which is not reliable. So that's why we try to integrate more spectral indices to improve this situation. So when we add on SAVI, EVI, and NDMI, you can see the accuracy reached 72% for barley, 68% for wheat, and 98% for rapeseed. And the overall kappa coefficient is 0.59, which is already good for the unsupervised classification with zero ground truth. However, when we try to add the best scatter value and VHV ratio, only the barley gets higher sensitivity, but the kappa coefficient is getting lower. Also, when we try to integrate NDWI, it didn't get the good result as we think. And we try to figure out by studying the phonology of these spectral indices and backscatter values. So to show the final result of this research, the ground truth from Rural Payment Agency and the supervised machine learning model results from the Rural Payment Agency is in the middle, and on the right-hand side, it's my best result in this research. And now it's the important part to talk about the phonology of winter barley, winter wheat, and rapeseed throughout the growing seasons and its spectral indices and backscatter values. So as you can see, for winter wheat and winter barley, they have very similar NDVI. This makes the huge misclassification. Thus, we need more spectral indices to improve the classification. And no matter which combination, rapeseed actually is well classified, since it's very different from winter barley and winter wheat, no matter in which spectral indices. And also, when we add the NDMI, it improves a lot for the classification, since the NDMI is very different from each other. And in the last part, we see when we add NDWI, it didn't really matter and it didn't really improve a lot. You can see on the right-hand side bottom, NDWI shows very similar among 3 types of crops. That's why when we add NDWI, it became worse than before. So for the best scatter value, actually for VH, they are very similar. And so there's no very high contribution, but for V and VHV ratio, there are more contribution on this classification. So for the conclusion, I would like to highlight the results of R1 and R5, which is NDMI, NDWI, and NDVI, SAVI, EVI, NDMI for R1, and R5, NDVI, SAVI, EVI, NDMI, NDWI, VHVV ratio. These two types of combination had moderate kappa coefficient of 0.59 and 0.52 and acceptable accuracies of 78% and 76% for barley, 60%, 68%, and 69% for wheat, and 96% and 93% for rapeseed. The temporal analysis of multispectral indices and backscattered sod amplitude values can enhance the understanding of seasonal growth patterns of winter varieties of barley, wheat, and rapeseed. Also, when we check our results, I just want to show you again. When we check our results, you can see our result is suitable for the complex farming fields, which means when there's mixed cropping, intercropping, it's suitable to use this unsupervised machine learning method. And also for the hedgerows, it's well classified out, not to be misclassified when we check with the satellite imagery. Okay. So the analysis of spectral indices throughout growth cycle can aid in classifying different crop types in multiple regions under various soil and meteorological conditions. The observations and predictions of biomass and yield across winter food crops can make more precise for accurate crop maps in the future. The maps of winter barley, winter wheat, and winter rapeseed between 2018 and 2023 at Norfolk will be generated very soon in my future research. Actually, I have generated these maps recently, just not putting in this presentation, but you can see the paper when I publish in the future. The investigations of farms in Norfolk will be undertaken to better realize the true conditions of local agricultural industry. So in the future, if I continue this study as a postdoc or professional investigator, I would like to have deeper understanding in the fields, no matter in the UK or in Taiwan, to understand these types of crops and fields, to get more accurate data to improve the classification and also to predict the yield and the biomass. The fourth, it's what I'm doing now, as a statistical method to predict the yield and biomass of winter food crops will be developed very soon. So this is the reference, and this is all about my research. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Xuan, for your presentation. We learned a lot from your submission entry, and also it's glad to hear that you keep on proceeding your project. Before we enter to the QA session with Xuan and also questions for the RunSpace organizing team regarding the RunSpace Innovation Challenge this year, can we have also a quick minute for a quick photo with Xuan now? So we kindly invite all the participants to turn on your camera here and to make some positions with Xuan so we can have the memorable group photo. So yeah, I will be waiting for everyone to turn on your camera once again. Thank you guys. Okay, still waiting. Okay, please turn on your camera since we have Xuan and Feng Yao both online and we would like to have a memorable photo with them. Okay, So we can start with the posing of the victory sign, if it's okay with you. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think we have the photo shoot, and also for the second one, I think we can have the, I don't know what sign this is, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Now we will count down. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think we have the photo shoot now, so we can proceed to the QA session. So feel free, everyone, to you can text your questions in the chat box on the right-hand side, or you can simply raise hand, and Feng Yao and Xuan Yi, and together with me, will answer all of your questions. If anyone have questions, feel free to raise your hand, please. Okay, then the RunSpace organizing team also have received some messages from the potential participating teams this year. So let me answer the questions to you. So I received the questions about if I have dual nationalities, can I join the RunSpace Innovation Challenge? Okay, so the answer is yes. So feel free to fill in your preferred nationality on the registration platform. So it is okay that, because the RunSpace Innovation Challenge did not restrict the participant background. Yeah, so whatever nationality, age, or whether you are a business professional or students or researcher are all welcome to join. Okay, can I receive some questions to the participating teams of the winning team last year? So do anyone have questions to Feng Yao or Xuan Yi now? Feel free to raise your hand. Or you guys are too shy, you can type in the chat box, please. And then I will read it and also ask Feng Yao and Xuan Yi to answer it to you. Okay, then as when I'm waiting for you guys to raise questions to the participating teams, I have some questions to Xuan Yi and Feng Yao both. So may I ask Feng Yao first, if Feng Yao is still online? Okay. We have gained some, because there are some potential participants that are messaging us to the RunSpace organizing team through Line. And I received a question that says, asking Feng Yao if, since you participated in last year's RunSpace Innovation Challenge, are there any part or sessions or any valuable memories for you last year? Feng Yao, please turn on your microphone, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So you mean memorable memories? You mean memories? Yeah. Great memories. Okay.
From RunSpace last year.
RunSpace? Okay. So first thing I would come up with is that we have a lot, a lot of discussion in the labs. Okay, we have a lot of, basically I think we do have a discussion 5 days per week. Like basically every day we all staying together and figuring out how to solve this question, how to solve that questions. Because like when it closed to the final presentation, there's a huge mistakes we have made because we kind of like lose the purposes when we doing that. So the results we come up with is kind of like not linked to the purposes. So we make a quick adjustments. I remember like, I think that's only maybe Thursday or Friday, and the time is like 11 p.m. and we're ready to go. we're ready to go. We're ready to take a break. But like some of us like just mentioned, but like, oh, I think we have some issues here. Like what issues we already done with? Because like I think we already done 90%, Lam. We just have to check the format, have to check the presentation. But like he just mentioned, like, I think we have some issues here. Like we all shocked, we are ready to go. I'm ready to, like, I already like bring my package up. I'm ready to go to grab a drink or something. Then we're just all coming back and try to solve the question. So that's the first memories. And the second one I would say is like, I think there's because like after week presentations, the top 3 will attend the exhibition, right? I forgot the name of exhibition. So the second one is like, there are a lot of different people, and I see the potential of the space industry growing up in Taiwan right now, because there are a lot of foreigners. Like I think there's a company from France, there's a company from different countries. I also seeing the rocket company in India. So I think there is a huge potential in space industry. This is the second memorable things. Yeah.
No problem. I believe you are mentioning about the Taitronics last year.
Yeah, Taitronics.
Yeah, we remember you projecting your submission and your demonstration during that time. And there are absolutely lots of companies, firms from not only from space industry, but also from I believe tech industry or many manufacturing companies during that time. And the winning teams did have the opportunity to gain more exposure and connections with the companies during that time.
Yeah.
And for this year, we also do have some sort of award ceremony and demonstration day, and also final review. So feel free to attend to this year's RunSpace Innovation Challenge again. Feng Yao, if you are interested, of course you can join with us and also join the sessions with us.
You mean again? You mean like join this year's? I think once time is enough for me, because I'm currently full. Yeah, so I think first time.
No problem.
I think it's enough.
Okay.
I think it's enough.
No problem. Thank you, Feng, for sharing. Now I also have a question for Xuan Yi, if that's okay. Okay. So I just received from Line that I heard from she's one of the participants online also, but maybe too shy to type or raise hands for questioning during this time. So she would like to ask Xuan Yi if what does it feel like to join in RunSpace Innovation Challenge in solo? Because we do offer like for 1 to 5 people to form a team. And we know that you join solo. So do you have any advice for the potential participants this year? I believe that it is based on different people's personality, like to maybe joining a group will encounter problems such as Feng Yao faced. There might be in-depth discussions and maybe some disputes. And for Xuan Yi, what is your experience as joining RunSpace Innovation Challenge by yourself?
When I figure out this competition, it's already very close to the deadline actually. So I didn't really have the time to form a group, and I was thinking just start from the innovation group and instead of the implementary. At first I thought the implementary group need to be in Taiwan, but maybe it's not necessary. I don't know. I thought it needs the final in-person presentation in Taiwan, or it's not necessary.
Do you mean that for the implementation category, you have to?
Yes.
Actually, it can be conducted through live streaming. So there are actually participants that are locating overseas. They still join the implementation category's final review during that time through live streaming. So if Xuan Yi, you are interested, of course, you can join for the implementation category this year.
Okay. join as a solo, you just need to like push yourself to finish all the job. And because it's part of my PhD research, so it should be the results I submitted to the RunSpace competition must be more, like my PhD's results should be more than what I have submitted to the RunSpace competition. So that's why I can join as a solo, but I don't know the condition of that person. And it's better that they have the idea to continue doing what they are interested in. Like if they have previous research project, it's better to continue what you have done in your undergraduate or graduate, or what you have done in the industry, and what you are working on now. I don't really know his or her condition, but it's better to continue what you have done if you want to join as a solo, because you don't have teammates to
Rely
like,
on.
yeah, and also accelerate your works and upgrade all the system. So it's better to continue what you have done. That's what I should say.
Okay, understood. So the takeaway from Xuan Yi's experience is that just focus on your project, because for Xuan Yi's condition, it is part of her PhD proposal. So she participates RunSpace by herself. But no matter you join solo or in a team, okay, feel free to join the RunSpace Innovation Challenge this year. And before we wrap up today's competition orientation and networking event, I would also kindly provide two information. So the first one is the team matchmaking service. So we will provide a QR code, which is a survey that we will collect potential RunSpace participants' interest in what focus or fields that they hope to achieve in the RunSpace Innovation Challenge, and hopefully we can find a suitable teammate for you. So if you are afraid to join solo, or you just want to have a teammate to rely on, feel free to scan the QR code on the slide. Yeah, and we will also send the team matchmaking service survey to you afterwards through email. So you feel free to scan now, or we will send the information to you afterwards. Okay, and the second part is the contact information and also the social media platforms. So the left is our official website, and the right side are our Instagram, LinkedIn, and Line. So feel free to join us on our social media platforms, where we will post the latest information about the RunSpace Innovation Challenge 2025 this year. And thank you guys for joining us today for the fully 2 hours. Many thanks to Feng Yao and Xuan Yi for sharing so much about your proposal last year. My apologies. Yeah, and to encourage the potential participants this year for joining the RunSpace Innovation Challenge from your experience and insights. And if the participants have further questions to you, we will also feel free to contact us, and we will help you to ask Feng Yao and Xuan Yi afterwards. So thank you, Feng Yao and Xuan Yi, and thank you to all the participants for attending this event. We will see you next time. And last but not the least, we have our pre-competition training session. So feel free to scan the QR code for our pre-competition training. It is labeled as, okay, I think we have a question. Please, you can turn on your microphone and to ask us any question if you like. Thank you. Okay, maybe it is a mispress of the the raising hand icon. Okay, so we do have the pre-competition training session, which is the innovating in space from exploration to business, and we invite guest speakers from iSpace and Odysseus Space to share their insights to the space industry. So feel free to join us during that time. It is on May 22. We will also post the info through our social media platforms, but also feel free to scan here to join us during that time. Okay. If there are no further questions, it is the wrap up of today's competition orientation and networking event. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.